Force, Navy all now outsourcing athletics. Army and Air Force didn't think they had much of a chance. As costs kept escalating in major college sports, both federal service academies couldn't keep up with their civilian competition. They couldn't afford it, not without some kind of help. So they went to Congress. Since 2009, each got legislation that authorized their athletics business operations to be outsourced to separate, private entities, moves that drew little notice but were driven by one big reason: they had been sucked into the high-cost funnel cloud of major college football and basketball. Secret Services, the hidden sports finances of Army, Navy, and Air Force database see how much college football coaches make with the cost of athletics increasing the way it had been. Something had to be done, Air Force Athletics Director Jim Knowlton told USA Today Sports. Both academies followed a similar path forged by Navy Athletics, which has operated as a separate non-profit for decades. The most recent conversion came at Army Athletics business operations. Their transition this year into a 501c3 non-profit called the Army West Point Athletic Association, a change that follows legislation that authorized it in the 2016 National Defense Authorization Act. Each realized there was a limit to government support of their programs and wanted more freedom to make and spend money as outside businesses. Leaders at the academy realized, if we continue on the path we're on, we won't be able to support a Division I athletic program, Knowlton said. It's a choice. If they wanted to, Air Force, Navy, and Army all could get out of the Division I sports spending race and compete in NCAA Division III, where expenses are dramatically lower and where there are no scholarship players. Another federal service academy, the U.S. Coast Guard Academy, competes in Division III with revenue of about $3 million, compared to about $42 million to $50 million at the Division I service academies, according to records from recent years. Those budgets aren't saddled with the big expense of athletic scholarships, unlike at other universities. That's because the academies don't have athletic scholarships. But the academies do have considerably more teams and more sports than other schools, about 30 teams each. They also want to win in the big revenue sports of basketball and football, where the market for coaches' pay, administrative support and facility expenses keep rising. Navy football coach Ken Niumatalolo makes $2 million and is by far the highest paid coach at all three academies, according to recent records. He has also been mentioned as a candidate for other jobs and could make more money elsewhere. This year, 39 schools are paying their football coach $3 million, up from 9 in 2011. There was a judgment made that the ability of the athletic programs writ large to compete effectively against other similarly positioned colleges was important, both as a recruiting tool for the individual academies and also a recruiting tool, quite frankly, for the services writ large, said John McHugh, a former U.S. Army secretary and congressman who co-sponsored the Air Force athletics legislation in 2009. So those new structures allowed, for example, competitive payment for coaches and such, so that ability to compete was sustained or actually enhanced. Navy Athletics led the academy outsourcing movement through the Naval Academy Athletic Association, founded in 1891. Federal legislation in 2013 essentially ratified the NAIA's long-standing operation of Navy Athletics, Athletics Director Chet Gladchuk said. By operating as separate non-profits, they all can make and spend money more like normal athletics departments. It helps untangle them from government rules that otherwise restrict federal academy fundraising and contracting. For example, Tim Fitzpatrick, the athletics director at the Coast Guard Academy in Connecticut, is a federal employee and is not allowed to fundraise in his official capacity. He's been advised to work around it when he goes to meetings with potential donors. "I'm like a starting pitcher in baseball," said Fitzpatrick, whose department is part of the Federal Academy and is not run by an outside organization. I pitch 7 or 8 innings, give the case for support, tell potential donors nice stories about how things are operating in athletics, and then a development officer takes over and makes the ask. The development officer is part of an outside support organization, not subject to stricter federal rules designed to protect against government abuse, waste, and fraud. Likewise, the athletics department nonprofits serving the Division I academies are non-federal.